Hello there, Mr. Sunshine here. It is June 27th, and I went to my medical doctor today, and the medical doctor told me that Western medicine doesn't test for adrenal fatigue, and the only way to test for celiac disease for Western medicine is to actually put you back on the gluten and then look for the inflammatory markers once you're on the gluten. So, since I've had so much success with being off the gluten, I'm not really ready to test that theory by going back on it. Um, and the digital scale at the hospital weighed me in at 195.5 versus the 190 my scale at home told me. So I'll take the digital over the analog. The other interesting part was when I explained to her what I was doing as far as the products I was using and the fact that I was off all of my medication and didn't have the symptoms. She wasn't really surprised. As a matter of fact, her um, comment was, well, um, do you want your flu vaccine? As in, um, because I was trying non Western medicine, maybe I didn't want to be vaccinated. Thought that was rather interesting as well. I did deny the flu vaccine because we're going into the summer, and this would not be a time when I would take that vaccine anyway. And I may choose not to take the vaccine, even though I've had the flu vaccine numerous times, and also the pneumonia vaccine and Shingrix. And of course, I had all my childhood vaccines, so I'm not in particularly um, anti-vax, but at the same time, the flu vaccine, and this is from the sources that I've worked with at the hospital's infection control department at previous facilities, has never been more than 20 or 30% effective because it's guessing which flu to put out there. The most prominent one, which is the Prevnar 20, I believe, um, takes the 20 known strains of flu that are currently floating around, and obviously COVID's going to get added to that. And it hopes to hit that one of those will be the hit. But every year, whenever the flu starts, and it does always start in the east and move to the west, they usually can identify what the flu is by the time it gets out of the eastern nations. Um, but you've all heard of the Hong Kong flu, the China flu, the avian flu, the swine flu, H1N1. All of those are in the Prevnar 20. Um, I think they call it PV20. Anyway, with the hopes that that will be one of the strains that's coming out. And unfortunately, they're not right most of the time. So taking the flu vaccine prior to flu season will not necessarily make sure that you do get the immunity that you're looking for. Having said that, taking it later, which often they make you take more than one dose because if you take the original one in October, by March you might need another. Sometimes I would feel it would be best to wait till later when they do have identified what flu is floating around this year. That might be the better time to take it so that you know you're getting vaccinated with the actual flu that's happening that year. Anyway, I'm digressing. Um, my blood pressure, even though I am consuming a lot of the Celtic salt and Himalayan salt, I love salt, as anyone would know, and but I've cut out the white table salt. My blood pressure was 122 over 70. My blood pressure previous year with my normal diet was 145 over 90. Um, she also said that she thought the weight loss was more than likely due to a keto style diet, which I'm kind of on, but not really. I'm eating low glycemic index food, which does mean very low carbohydrate, but I'm not full keto, meaning only eating um, fats and proteins, which I guess that's closer to being paleo. But I have cut out a lot of carbs, which is a huge portion of the keto diet is the reduction of carbs. Um, so by default, I guess I am having that effect. And she said the keto diet is well known for reducing weight. But I have tried that before actually and was almost full protein and fat and really didn't have the weight loss that I'm experiencing now um, because like I said, I've cut out all gluten, starches, and even to the point of not having the fruits. With one or two exceptions, I will occasionally have an acai bowl with walnuts and haven't had any ill effects from that. But that, again, is part of the low glycemic index, which is trying to help out my adrenals more than anything else. So, unfortunately, it looks like I will need to wait 6 months. I did get her to order um, blood DHEA testing, and I think it's a breath test, she said, for H. pylori, um, which was identified in my stool sample. Um, she said it's actually more accurate to test for it through your breath. I've been on the H. pylori cleanse, I'll call it, not cure, medication, which was some of the natural licorice roots and whatnot. I'm only about 1/6 of the way through that, so I still got um, at least 6 more weeks of treatment for the H. pylori natural treatment. She did say that if I do go on the antibiotic, she was very quick to point out if the H. pylori is indicated in my breath sample, that it's a very quick 3 dose of antibiotic specific to H. pylori. So I'll do a little more investigating into that because the last thing I want to do is upset my gut more than it already is by having another round of any type of antibiotic in there unnecessarily. So, anyway, that is the update on my visit with the Western doctor today. And like I said, good blood pressure, 95% SATs, heart rate 55, um, all good numbers with a weight of 195, which drops my BMI down below the obese range. Woohoo! I was running a 27 BMI when I was running 220, and now I'm around the 24, and below the 25 is below the obese range. So I'm not obese anymore. Ho ho ho. Anyway, happy Tuesday to you all. We got a nice blustery day out here in the high desert, and hope you all are having a wonderful Tuesday. Love you guys, and namaste.